Welcome back. All right, I guess I'm going to have to explain this first. My costume for this year is I am the fourth Doctor from Doctor Who, thus the huge scarf which my wife made me, which took a long time. I am undercover as a German soccer player, and I'm at Disneyland. So it's there's a lot of layers to the story of the character that I've built here. So you guys may want to laugh or say that seems kind of weird, but it's an intricate plot line that I'm working at here. I just don't know that Tom Baker at this point in time would be all that interested. But I'll send him the script. It's going to be fine. It'll be good. All right. Starting things off tonight with Seattle and Toronto. So it was Decord versus Woll. And, it feels like this early part of the season's been really unpredictable. Seattle coming off of a huge win, and just the momentum doesn't seem to carry over this year with some of these teams either. Shots are one apiece at 3.5 minutes. Kraken get a power play. That becomes 20 seconds of 4-on-4. Nyes can't bury one. Decord holds on there, and everything's all killed off. McCann has a rush chance that saved. The Kraken press with 6.5 minutes left. Cartier has a shot held as Seattle's pressing. The Leafs then get some pressure with 2.5 minutes left. OEL has a point shot past a screen. That is held. Nylander to Tavares. That gets picked off. And in the closing seconds at 19:55, Nyes scores from Marner and Matthews. So one of those key last moment goals. And then early in the second period, Nylander adds one. At 1:39, he scores from Riley and Tavares. So Seattle presses to respond. We get a power play for Seattle. McCann's denied late in it. That's killed off. The shots are 5-1 Seattle at 8 minutes, but the one Toronto shot's gone in the net. The Leafs press at 9 minutes, and at 9:24, during that press, on a nice tic-tac-toe play, Nylander gets the second goal of the period. Tavares and Pacioretty with the assists. It's 3-0 for Toronto. The Kraken then press. They're kept to the outside. Another press by Seattle with 7 minutes left. With 3:13 left, the Kraken get a power play. Toronto kills that off. It's 3-0 after 2 periods of play. Third period, there's an early press by Seattle. Bjorkstrand has a shot that deflects out. That power play ends up being killed off. Shots are 2-1 Seattle, 5 minutes in. McCabe fires one wide on a 3-on-2. The Leafs press at 7 minutes. Toronto draws a power play. Gord prevents a Pacioretty goal. That power play ends up being killed off. Early goalie pull, down by 3. I think it was like about 6 minutes left. Makes sense. And at 16:32, it kind of works. Tolvanen wires one past a screen. Evans and Beniers with the assists. So Seattle's on the board. And of course, you got to pull the goalie again after. However, at 18:17, Matthews calls a bank shot. I love it when guys do this on empty net goals. And there's the skill to it to know exactly where to hit it off the boards to get it to go in the middle of the net. And Matthews does that. So Matthews gets the empty netter to take any tension out of the game that might have been building. Toronto wins 4-1. They go to 6-4-1 on the season. Seattle drops to 5-5-1. Shots on net, 14-11 Toronto in the first, 9-6 Seattle in the second, 10-5 Toronto in the third. Final shots 30-25 Toronto. Power play Seattle 0 for 3, Toronto 0 for 2. The hits 34-30 for Toronto. Decord saves 26 out of 29, and Woll saves 24 out of 25. All right, moving along. St. Louis and Philadelphia, and low-scoring games. A lot of these were low-scoring tonight. So it's Binnington versus Harrison. The Flyers have the early jump, and when they're low-scoring games, there's usually a lot less to talk about, and it's a shorter runtime. Power play for Philadelphia, that gets killed off. The Blues press at 7.5 minutes. Halfway through the period, the shots are 6-5 for St. Louis. And then at 11:12, Hathaway buries one on a rush. The assists on that one to Paling and Sealer. The Blues press with 3 minutes left, but in that second half of the period, each team only had one shot, including that goal by Philly. So very defensive game. And I feel like when it's a defensive game, that definitely favors Philadelphia just because of the style of hockey Tortorella coaches. So second period, there's a post for Kyrou on a rush. The Blues press at 1.5 minutes. They hit another post, so 2 posts in the first couple of minutes. We get a power play for St. Louis. There was a puck to the visor on Sanheim, and you just have to think if he's not wearing a visor, it might have got him in the eye, that kind of thing. That power play ends up being killed off, and then Philly gets a power play, so that's killed off as well. Blues go back to the power play. Philadelphia kills that off. The shots are 6-5 St. Louis with 8 minutes left. Konechny has a rush chance. That's held. The Flyers press with 7 minutes left, and they press some more with 5 minutes left. They're building momentum up by 1. Frost can't bury one in close. That is held then by Binnington. And honestly, this was the fastest game, easily the fastest game of the early starts tonight. So we go to the third period with it still 1-0. Flyers blocking early. There's a press by Philadelphia at 2 minutes. The teams exchange rushes. Couturier's denied via a 2-on-1. The Blues press at 4 minutes. The Flyers draw a power play. That's killed off. The shots are 4-3 in favor of the Flyers 9 minutes in. And then at 9:58, Nathan Walker scores. He gets one from Broberg and Bolduc. The Flyers press to respond. Broberg has a shot that's held as the Blues get some pressure. And then Brink makes it a 2-1 score for Philadelphia. He scores from Farabee and Lawton at 16:59. Holloway then has a shot. That deflects out. Goalie pull happens with a little over 2 minutes left. With 46.6 seconds left, the Blues call a timeout. Schen's denied. Ersson holds. The Flyers ice the puck with 12.6 seconds left. And, Philly hangs on in this one. Your final score is 2-1 for the Flyers. They go to 4-6-1, and their next game is against the Boston Bruins. So we'll see how things go. The St. Louis Blues drop to 5-6 with the loss. Shots on net, 7-6 for St. Louis in the first. 10-7 Philly in the second, 7-5 St. Louis in the third. Both teams had 21 shots in this game. Power plays, St. Louis 0 for 2, Philadelphia 0 for 3. The hits, 24-10 for St. Louis. Bennington saves 19 out of 21. Ersson saves 20 out of 21. So, tight game, and Philadelphia gets the win. And it's like last year where that's kind of had the style they have to play, but it can get a little bit exhausting. So we'll see how it trends this year. All right, next up. Anaheim and Pittsburgh, and Dostal almost does it again. In fact, the only reason Anaheim gets a point is Lucas Dostal, who has become quite the bandwagon by himself. It's Dostal versus Nedeljkovic. In fact, when I get to power rankings this week, I think I should just have Dostal's face on a puck, not even have an Anaheim puck. The Penguins press at 2 minutes. The shots are 4-0, 2.5 minutes in. So the Ducks just, all right, Lucas, you got the net. We get a power play for Pittsburgh. That's killed off. The shots 7 minutes in are 10-2 for Pittsburgh. It's just all Penguins. Bunting's denied in close as the Penguins get some pressure. They press again halfway through the period. Dumoulin has a post as the Ducks finally get some pressure. And Dostal's quite the story. And then Anaheim scores first. At 15:50, Killorn scores from Zegras and Gauthier. Terry then fires one wide on a rush as now Anaheim's looking for a 2-0 lead. The Penguins press in the final minute with 10.4 seconds left. It's an offensive zone penalty by Crosby. He didn't agree, but it's 1-0 Anaheim after one, and they have a power play rolling into the second period. The Ducks, though, they struggle to set up that power play. The Penguins kill that off. Really good kill by them. Shots are 2-0 Anaheim at 3.5 minutes. There's a press by the Penguins at 6.5 minutes. We get a power play for Pittsburgh. That's killed off. Minchukov can't bury one in close. The shots are 6 apiece with 7.5 minutes left. So Anaheim evens up the shots a bit here. Terry has a rush chance. That's blocked. Killorn hits the side of the net in close. We get a power play for Pittsburgh. Raquel, the former member of the Ducks, is denied. Carlson fires one high. Power play's killed off. The Penguins press after it's done. The teams exchange rushes. With 54 seconds left, the Ducks go to the power play. So again, they have a power play that straddles the periods here. And so to start the third period, the Penguins finish the kill. And not long after they've finished the kill, Crosby gets on the board with a goal from Grzelcyk and Carlson at 1:47. The Ducks look to respond. Penguins press at 4.5 minutes. Bunting can't bury one in close. The fans call one. The referee does not. Shots are 8-0 Pittsburgh at 6 minutes. It is the Lucas Dostal show. And with 8.5 minutes left, the shots are 12-1 for Pittsburgh. There's only so many times I can write Penguins are pressing. Penguins have some pressure. There's more pressure for the Penguins. Gauthier hits the outside of the net on a rush. Pressed by the Penguins with 4 minutes left, so that rush chance was almost. The fans call one. The referee doesn't. Pettersson's denied. The Ducks rush. Gauthier gets robbed for what was the second time late in the third period. We're going to overtime. Penguins control early. Malkin's robbed, so the Ducks take over. They end up turning the puck back over. Crosby has a one-timer that's blocked, and then he gets in alone and he buries one. You just can't let Crosby get in like that. He scores from Cody Glass at 2:35. The Penguins win this one 2-1 in overtime. They go to 4-7-1 with the win. The Ducks drop to 4-4-2 with the overtime loss. Shots on net, 18-7 Pittsburgh in the first, 11-9 Pittsburgh in the second, 15-7 Pittsburgh in the third. They had both shots in the overtime, including the shot that matters. Final shots 46-23 for the Penguins. Power plays, Anaheim 0 for 2, Pittsburgh 0 for 3. The hits 27-17 Anaheim. Dostal saves 44 out of 46. Just an amazing night for him. And Nedeljkovic saves 22 out of 23. So what's weird is he allows one goal on 23 shots. Dostal allows 2 on 46 shots. So they had the same save percentage even though one team had double the amount of shots. All right, so last one on this board is Montreal and Washington, and this got close at certain periods, and then Washington kind of pulls away. Let's go through it. Primo versus Lindgren. There's a near miss for Dubois in the rush. There was no shots on net 3.5 minutes in, so defensively minded start to this. The Habs were matching the defensive game early on. It doesn't stay that way. McMichael fires one wide on a rush. Things are punchy as a penalty's called on the Habs. There was a post for Carlson. Puck's cleared out. Montreal kills that off. Near miss for Slafkovsky, and then the rebound is cleared from the Capitals net. We get a power play for Montreal. That's killed off. The Caps press with 5 minutes left. We end up coming out of this period without a goal. Second period. Full Habs power play to start. Slafkovsky has a shot that deflects out. That power play is killed off, and then the Capitals get another power play, and they score on it. It's Wilson tipping one in front. Ovechkin and Carlson with the assists at 3:21. That makes it a 1-0 lead for Washington. Caps look for another, but the Habs, they get another power play. The Caps score, but they're offside. I believe that was just after the power play was done. Then there's too many Caps on the ice, so the Habs get a power play, and they score on this one. It is Caulfield from Suzuki at 9:52. So Caulfield continues his ridiculous run when it comes to goal scoring. And then at 10:31, so 39 seconds later, Montreal gets the lead. Gallagher tips in a point shot. Hudson and Dvorak with the assists, so it's 2-1 for Montreal. Shots are 5-4 for the Caps with 9 minutes left. And at 11:45, Duhaime has one that goes past a screen. He scores from Radish and Van Riemsdyk. And at 12:39, Washington gets the lead back with Vrana getting a goal. Then we get a power play for the Capitals. That's killed off. At the 18-minute mark, from the left circle on what was a good cycle by Montreal, they tie the game again. Suzuki gets this one from Savard and Hudson. Caps press in the final minute, but after a quiet first period, we had 6 goals in that second period. It's a 3-3 tie going to the third. In the third, there's a press by the Caps at a minute and a half. Eventually, they get a goal here. 4:21 in. McMichael buries a rebound in close. Van Riemsdyk and Wilson with the assists. And then at 4:57, on a rush, Protas puts one off Strubal's stick that goes into the net. Strubel was trying to prevent a pass to Ovechkin, ends up going in off his stick. Ovechkin and Strome with the assists on that goal. The shots are 6-1 for Washington, 6.5 minutes in. We get a power play for Montreal. That becomes a minute and 35 seconds of 5-on-3. The Caps kill that off. Ovechkin then scores from a sharp angle in close. Protas and Strome with the assists at 12:27. So Ovechkin getting closer and closer to Gretzky. Power play for the Capitals. We have then a fight between Anderson and Wilson. Wilson threw a hit on Gooley that Anderson didn't like, and Josh held his own, but it ends up with a 5-on-3 for the Caps. There's a shorthanded rush by Matheson out of the box. He's denied. Montreal does kill off the 5-on-3, but they lose the game 6-3. So Washington goes to 7-2 with the win. Montreal drops to 4-6-1 with the loss. The shots on net, 7-6 Washington in the first, 13-6 Montreal in the second. Washington in the second, 14-4 for Washington in the third. Final shots, 34-16 for the Capitals. Power plays, Montreal 1 for 6, Washington 1 for 5. The hits, 23-22 for Montreal. Primo, 28 saves on 34 shots. And Lindgren, only 13 saves on 16 shots, but he wasn't busy. So not a great night for Lindgren, but it doesn't end up mattering because they put up a 6th spot at the other end. So last night I used the WTF magnet for the first time for a 6-0 win by New Jersey over Vancouver. And tonight it is on the board again. And I'll say the same thing I did last night about Vancouver's loss. If it's 3-2 or 4-2, okay, that's fine. This is absolutely just gross. And I'm going to say straight out, yes, Boston's in the bottom row of the power rankings. I think this team is fundamentally broken. I don't know how you fix it. So it's Swayman versus Kochetkov. The Bruins press at 4 minutes, but the lone shot on net is Carolina's 5.5 minutes in. And at 6:28, on a nice pass from the slot, Roslovic buries one. Aho and Svechnikov with the assists. Canes look for another. The Bruins get a 4-minute power play. That becomes a minute and 12 seconds of 5-on-3. And Brindamore was unhappy with that. Pasternak has a one-timer that's caught and held. And eventually, during a 5-on-3, Marchand has one that deflects in, ties the game. Pasternak and Elias Lindholm with the assist. And then the barking from the bench gets to the point where the referee's like, fine, I'll give you guys a penalty for unsportsmanlike conduct. We have another minute and 20 seconds of 5-on-3 for Boston. Carolina kills it off that time. And then they get a power play and they score on it. You know they're angry. You know they're going to score. Svechnikov scores from Gostisbehere and Natchez at 17-14. It's a point shot that's tipped in front of the net. Orlov then scores seconds later at 17:50 from Blake and Carrier. Canes go back to the power play with 2:01 left, and it takes 7 seconds. At 18:06, Natchez scores from Jarvis and Gostisbehere. Then with 15.2 seconds left, the Canes go back to the power play. So it's 4-1 for Carolina after one. And all I was thinking was, as long as Boston comes out and shows a little bit of fight back. Yeah. So the Bruins finish the kill. Things are pushy and punchy on a hole by Swayman. And then Hampus Lindholm picks a corner from the slot. He scores at 3:38. Kastelik and Pasternak with the assists. The Canes press at 5.5 minutes. We then get a power play for Carolina, and they score on it. Svechnikov buries his own rebound from the side of the net. Jarvis and Natchez with the assists at 8:51. Less than a minute later, Carolina scores again. It is Roslovic with his second of the game. Martinuk with the assist at 9:32. That ends the night for Jeremy Swayman, who can sue his defense for a lack of support. Korpisalo's in the net, and 30 minutes into this game, Boston has 6 shots. So, you've got 6 goals for Carolina. You have 6 shots from Boston. It's embarrassing. It's humiliating. And so this is why last season I enjoyed the regular season run that Boston, Dallas, and Vancouver had. I knew it would never happen again. So the Canes press for another. The Bruins score, but goalie interference. So that comes off the board. With 1:48 left, the Canes get a power play. So that rolls over into the third where only 12 seconds. Boston can kill 12 seconds. Then there's a press by Boston in a minute and a half. Power play gets drawn by the Bruins. That's killed off. The shots are 2-1 for Boston at 6.5 minutes. And then Sean Walker roofs one from the inner slot at 7:36. And then at 12:13, to really mess up my board, Kotkaniemi wires a wrister on a rush. Natchez with the assist. Your final score is 8-2. Carolina goes to 7-2 on the season. Boston drops to 4-6-1. Shots on net, 10-5 Carolina in the first, 18-5 Carolina in the second, 9-5 Carolina in the third. Final shots, 37-15 for Carolina. Power plays, 1 for 5 for Boston, 3 for 5 for Carolina. The hits, 32-12 for Boston because they never had the puck. Swayman, 16 saves on 22 shots. Korpisalo, 13 saves on 15 shots. Kochetkov, 13 saves on 15 shots. And I have to say, I think it's hilarious that people dump on Swayman and go, he's not living up to his contract. This team is garbage. This Bruins team, you could put Ken Dryden in his prime behind this team's defense, and he gets lit up tonight. It doesn't matter who Jacques Plante. You could put Jacques Plante and Gump Worsley in the net at the same time. They still get lit up tonight. There's nothing. And honestly, Carolina didn't take their foot off the gas. And this is the thing. Everybody hates Boston, so nobody's going to take their foot off the gas. This could be a long year. All right. That being said, we'll move along. The Oilers in Nashville. So this is a bit of a feud, isn't it? And in 2 weeks, they're going to meet again. I'm looking forward to it. So Pickard versus Saros. Early press by the Oilers, and they score. It is Arvidsson bearing a backhand, so he gets his first of the year. People aren't necessarily watching the previews. They might want to start. I have called 3 different guys getting their first goals this year. I don't know how, but it's happened. So Arvidsson gets this one from Draisaitl and Podkolzin at 37 seconds. We then get a power play for the Oilers. We get 50 seconds, of 4-on-4. Then, when it becomes a power play, Philip Forsberg scores on what was only the second shot for Nashville at 5:05. So it felt like this might be a bit of a shootout. Shots are 8-3 for the Oilers at 7.5 minutes. At 9:54, Corey Perry scores from Kajula and Philp. So Kajula with his first point as an Oiler in 6 years? And Philp, his first career point, and his family was in attendance. It was nice to see them jumping around celebrating. Then we had a fight between Emberson and Smith. We also had a fight that featured Podkolzin in this game, and this was quite the game. Hyman's denied on a net drive. There's a post for Kulak in the final minute. So it's 2-1 Edmonton after the first period. Second period, the Preds, they get some pressure at 2 minutes. The shots are 1 apiece at 3.5 minutes. The teams trade turnovers. Nyquist has a slot shot, which is blocked. We get a power play for Nashville. That's killed off. And then at 9:03, Draisaitl. Draisaitl scores what is his 24th game in 16 career games against the Nashville Predators. Shots are 4-1 for the Oilers with 8.5 minutes left, telling you that, yeah, Nashville's not getting to the net enough. So Nashville, I guess, understood that I wrote that on the board. They get some pressure with 7 minutes left. Novak has a net feed that's held. With 1:11 left, there's a delay of game call. Nashville goes to the power play. So with Edmonton up 3-1, that power play rolls over into the third period. The Oilers finish the kill. Brown prevents a goal for Nashville, and who knows what that might have done to the momentum. There's a net feed to Hyman, near miss there, and then at 1:48, Draisaitl goes short side on a net drive. Ekholm and Bouchard with the assists. It is 4-1 for the Oilers. Draisaitl is always fantastic when McDavid is out. Stamkos has a wraparound that's blocked. The shots are 3-1 Oilers at 6.5 minutes. And the fourth goal really quiets down the crowd. They are just completely out of it at that point. There's a press by Nashville with 9 minutes left. Things are pushed in a hole by Pickard. And at 12:46, it is Hyman extending the lead. He wires it on a breakaway. That is his first goal of the season. Now watch him put up a bunch. Nurse and Skinner with the assists. I didn't call Hyman getting a goal. Pressed by Nashville with 4 minutes left. The Oilers get some pressure with a minute and a half left. I mean, it's basic numbers that are, okay, this guy hasn't got a goal yet. He's probably due. So shots on net in this one, 15-10 Edmonton in the first, 10-5 Nashville in the second, 9-7 Edmonton in the third. Final shots, 29-27 for the Oilers. Power plays, Edmonton 0 for 1, Nashville 1 for 3. The hits, 30-20 for Nashville. Pickard saves 26 out of 27, and Saros saves 24 out of 29. So the Oilers really did a number on the 3-6-1 Nashville Predators. The Oilers 5-5-1. I did read the records, right? I think I did. If I didn't, I covered for myself there. So be show some pride for the German soccer doctor Disney character that I am. All right, last game of the night, Chicago and San Jose. And I'm going to say this too. This game was all by itself. It was the only game that was on. It was very entertaining throughout. It was. Mrazek versus Blackwood, early press by the Sharks. In fact, the shots are 4-0 San Jose 3 minutes in. Bertuzzi has a tip shot that's held. The Hawks press at 5.5 minutes. At 6:52, Will Smith gets his first NHL goal. He scores from Sturm. He goes blocker side from the left circle. It was a nice goal. I'm so glad to see Will Smith have a good night. He's been out there and his stats, just there weren't any, and I'm glad that he's finally got some statistics. Nice to see. The Hawks press to respond, and they do. At 7:29, Donato wires one from the slot. He's got 5 goals in his last 5 games. Murphy and Mikheyev with the assists. Bedard has a rush chance that's saved, and then at 8:19, Bertuzzi scores from Murphy and Hall, and I put up their last shot wins because that's 3 goals in about a minute and a half. So it felt like this is just going to go crazy. It didn't. Granlund has a near miss as the Sharks press. In fact, here's your 80s game, your Cobra Kai magnet for No Mercy, and the WTF all in the same game. Because, yeah, there was no other magnets used other than the NHL ones in any other game tonight. So, Granlund has a near miss as the Sharks press. The shots are 11-8 for San Jose with 6.5 minutes left. But it was a quieter second half of the period after what was a crazy first half. So we go to the second period with the score 2-1 Chicago. There's an early press by the Sharks, and at a minute and a half, Mrazek thought he had the puck, but the whistle didn't sound, and Wenberg finds that loose puck and buries it. Zetterlund and Wallman with the assists. The Hawks then look to respond. The Sharks got pinned down for a while, just the Hawks had some near misses at the net. Bedard fires one wide on a rush. I mean, it went off the goalie's stick, but the goalie, where his stick was, it wasn't blocking the net, so I'm going to go ahead and say he fired it wide, even though it hit the goalie's stick. I just wanted to point that out. But anyways, the Hawks draw a power play. Reichel's denied. Blackwood holds there. Power play's killed off. Then the Sharks go the other way. They get some pressure. Sharks then go to the power play. There's a post for Eklund. Mrazek holds. And then Will Smith gets his second goal of the game, second goal of his career, and it's his first power play goal of his career at 10:42. He roofs it. It goes back post and out. So nice goal there. And that puts San Jose ahead 3-2. The Hawks press with 3 minutes left. There's more pressure by the Hawks in the final minute, but it's 3-2 San Jose after 2. Third period. Hall to Bertuzzi near miss. The Hawks press at 3 minutes. The teams trade rushes. The shots are 4-2 San Jose at 5 minutes, which I didn't think exactly showed you how this game was being played. And then the Hawks just take over the rest of the way. They have heavy pressure at 6.5 minutes. Jones is denied. It's really all Chicago from that point on. The Hawks draw a power play. San Jose kills that off. Then with 1:19 left, there's a delay game penalty on Zetterlund. Isn't that fun? Yeah. It's been a fun night. I'm not a fan. So yeah, 6-on-4 as a result of Zetterland with the delay of game. The Sharks hold on. They win this one 3-2. They go to 3-7-2 with their third win in a row. Way to go, San Jose. Chicago 3-7-1 with the loss. The shots on net: 12-9 San Jose in the first, 12-9 San Jose in the second, 13-5 Chicago in the third. Final shots are 31-29 for Chicago. Power plays: Chicago 0 for 3, San Jose 1 for 1. So they scored on the only one they had. The hits: 20-13 for San Jose. Mrazek 26 saves on 29 shots, and Blackwood 29 saves on 31 shots. So that being said, I hope everybody had a good, safe Halloween. Safe. There's bylaws about fireworks. They don't enforce them, and so kids just toss them around. And so we're hoping they don't end up underneath the vehicle and cause trouble. But yeah, police don't care. So anyways, there you go. Thank you guys so much, though, for all your support as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe in the event you've not done so already. From the Fourth Doctor, wearing a German soccer jersey, so cosplaying as a German soccer player undercover at Disneyland. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.